if you've tried a detox for fertility, but here you are a few months later, still testing every month and guessing what's going on in your body, then I want to share a little something with you. What if I told you that the secret isn't just in detoxing, but it's actually replenishing exactly what your body needs to get to that point of conception? Tell me in the comments if you've done a fertility detox and if that worked for you. In the last video, I talked about a test that I use in my practice called the HTMA, or hair tissue mineral analysis. And basically what this does is it's a super easy test that you send in of your hair to a lab, and what they do is they look at the mineral content of your hair. Now, what's really fascinating about this test is it can tell us exactly where your body is lacking or imbalanced in minerals, which are so important to overall fertility. Many couples who have done a detox are focusing on the wrong thing by just trying to remove toxins from their bodies and missing the other whole half of the picture. Many couples do a detox hoping that it will boost their fertility, but detoxing is really only half of the picture. The other half is that we actually have to replenish what might be missing in your body or even more depleted since you detoxed. I want you to think of your body as a garden, and what I mean by this is think of detoxing as pulling out the weeds out of your garden, aka your body. Now, pulling out weeds is great, but unless we actually add nutrients back into the soil and plant something, nothing's going to grow there. In this instance, a baby. For instance, between breastfeeding and pregnancy, I think a baby takes about 4 pounds of calcium out of your body, which is a lot to give, especially if you're already low in calcium. So the HTMA shows us exactly which nutrients you need in your soil to grow what you're hoping to, which in your case is a baby. Minerals are so important in overall fertility as well as pregnancy. So it's very vital that we have minerals like calcium, magnesium, zinc, and iodine all replenished and all ready to go and all working nicely and playing well together in order for conception to happen. All of these minerals are so important in things like ovulation, egg quality, sperm quality, menstrual cycles, all the things that we need to be working well in order to get pregnant. And the other piece of this puzzle is that when we're working with minerals, we really need not just a few minerals to be balanced, we need all the minerals working well because so many of them interact with each other. You can see here, this is called the mineral wheel. And if you take a look, you can see how many interactions there are with both minerals and vitamins with all the other minerals in our body. So it's really important that we have not only the right amounts, but that they're all playing nicely together in order for us to have the best chance of conception. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to replenish their bodies is just shotgunning supplements. What I mean from that is they hear on a podcast or from their best friend's sister's cousin that this worked for her when she was struggling with fertility. So they assume that it's going to work for them the same way. And then they're frustrated when that doesn't work. And then they get to the point where they feel like they've tried everything, when in fact, they just haven't done what's quite right for their body and figured out what their body is needing. The other mistake I see couples making is using cheap supplements. Now, I'm all for supplements and I've seen them do amazing things in my work. However, don't be buying them on Amazon. Don't get them from Walmart or GNC or Target. You need to buy pharmaceutical grade supplements. And a lot of supplement companies in the past have been tested and they actually don't even contain what they say they have in them, and sometimes even have other things, including allergens in them. So they actually can do little to no good. And sometimes that's why couples don't see that they're making progress, is because they're using cheap supplements that don't even have in them what they say they have in them. I always use pharmaceutical grade supplements with my clients, meaning that what they say is in the supplement is actually in there. Here are a few specific minerals that are so important to overall fertility. Magnesium is very important in egg development and quality, and also your stress response. And it's estimated that 50% of people are deficient in magnesium. So if you are trying to get pregnant, magnesium is definitely one that you should look into and see if your body has enough of it and how it's playing with those other minerals. Zinc is a really important one for hormone production, ovulation, and also sperm quality for guys. So this is a big one for both parties to know where they're standing with zinc. Along with zinc, we want to know how copper and zinc are playing together because they kind of oppose each other, and one can push the other down and the other can push the other down. And we need both of those to be on the same playing field in order for the best environment for reproduction. So you can see how these key players, and these are just a few, really have a huge impact on your overall health and reproductive ability. And this is always where I start with couples, because if these are out of balance, typically we're not going to make a whole lot of progress or get to the end goal of conception unless we first address all these minerals and how they're playing in the body. Now, in both men and women, a lot of times fertility is not going to be the only issue that we're going to see struggles with when minerals are out of balance. For women, we'll usually see issues with cycles or anxiety or things like that. And with men, sometimes it can be libido changes or energy or even ability to focus and concentrate. But it really takes both partners being committed to getting their health on track and getting things in balance in order to make a healthy baby, because if one part of this equation isn't working, the whole thing is not going to come together. Let's talk about what you can do to help balance your minerals. The first thing you want to do is make sure your blood sugar is balanced. Blood sugar is one of those things that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. They know the term hangry and they know they get shaky or headaches when they haven't eaten for a while. That is your blood sugar telling you that it is not balanced and that that's something you probably need to work on. Blood sugar and insulin are so important because those are hormones, and if those hormones are out of balance, they're going to affect everything else along with it, including testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, which we really want working well in order to make a baby. Work on lowering stress. This is so important because when our stress levels are high, then our cortisol goes up. Cortisol is another hormone, and hormones are kind of like a symphony that all work together and play together. And I don't know about you, but when you hear a piece of music that is beautiful, you really don't hear all one instrument. They all just kind of play nice together. However, I'm sure you've seen it or maybe even experienced it at your own concert in high school, where one instrument is just off key or like taking over, and it really ruins the whole experience. And that's how it is with hormones as well. So we don't want that cortisol high. We don't want that blood sugar high. We really need everything nicely in balance. So making sure your blood sugar is balanced and working on your stress can go a long way in helping to balance out your hormones and your minerals. Another important factor is sleep. So many people are either not getting enough sleep or not getting restful sleep, and definitely minerals can play into that as well, because magnesium and calcium are relaxing minerals. And so if those are lower out of balance, it is going to show up in areas where we want to relax, like when we're sleeping. And I've helped many people with insomnia or issues like that, where yes, they're struggling with fertility, but they also are struggling sleeping at night. And it's because these minerals are out of balance. Making sure that you're having an optimal environment for sleeping, your room is dark and cool, do not bring your phone to bed with you. Things like that can really go a long way in getting your sleep on track too. For women, it's really important that you are aware of what your cycle is doing. This is called fertility awareness, and each month you get a report card called your menstrual cycle. And based on what that menstrual cycle is doing, it can tell you a lot about where your body is struggling and where we might need to bring in some help that way too. So working at supporting each other and supporting your own hormonal health and mineral balance can go a long way in helping your fertility journey. You can see also how so many of these things aren't necessarily gender specific, but they're overall lifestyle improvements that are going to have a huge impact on fertility overall for both people involved. And one thing I love about working in fertility is there is that built-in accountability and support, because both partners should be working towards that same goal. And when you make lifestyle changes, they really go a long way in improving your health for years to come, so that even if your fertility journey doesn't end up the way you want it to, that you can both be healthier in the long run. In the next video, I'm going to share common mistakes that people make in detoxing and what we can do instead. If you are struggling with fertility, click the link down below to schedule your fertility consult. I would love to talk to you about what we can do to look at your mineral balance and take a very personalized, customized approach to your fertility so that we can get you where you want to be.